Breath of air is blowing through Anka local government area of Zamfara state, which is seen as one of the dreaded killing fields in the bandit-infested northwest of Nigeria. Many of its villages have deserted since the upsurge in violence began in 2011, leaving thousands of people displaced. But residents say peace is gradually returning. Abajide Kolade was in the state recently where he spoke with some of the internally displaced persons. Let's share the story with you.
Anka local government area of Zamfara state is seen as one of the dreaded killing fields in the bandit-infested northwest of Nigeria. Many of its villages have been deserted since the upsurge in violence began in 2011, leaving thousands of people displaced. Zamfara state local governments like Zurmi and Shinkafi have seen the people's everyday activities disrupted by extreme violence like kidnapping for ransom, cattle rustling, and tit-for-tat mass killings. Access to food and essential services is severely hampered as men can't farm and therefore can't feed their families. Out of the 8 internally displaced persons camps in Zamfara state, 6 are located in Anka local government area. Zamfara State Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs speaks on the welfare of IDPs at the IDP camp in Anka and the need for support from non-governmental organizations.
It's important for us to understand that Zamfara State is not facing only man-made disaster, but also natural disaster. So our IDPs are not only as a result of man-made disaster, but also as a result of natural disaster. We have experienced a lot of flooding. Presently, I think we have over 100,000 head of households internally displaced persons, amounting to over 700 women and children inclusive. And considering the population of the state, which is a little bit above 5 million, it's quite alarming. So I understand and I reason with you. But what I want you to understand is most of our IDPs are in host communities. And them being in the host communities, this is by choice. They chose to be in host communities because they feel safer. We have been providing them with emergency response, and that is the reason why we are inviting international organizations to come and assist.
With security men accompanying me in good numbers, I embarked on the dangerous journey to Anka to see how the people were doing. I drove to the palace of Anka's outspoken emir, but he was said to be out of town. However, some of the emir's staff and neighbors spoke with me on the state of insecurity in Anka at this time.
lokacin da muna zaman lafiya Allah kan wani itla'i ya faru ɓarayin layi suna kula da dukiyoyi suna kashe mana al'umma suna wani muna hatsi da sauransu a ce da ba a nan isa kan cewa mun ka bar garin dole mun ka dawo nan mun ka ɗan dukiyoyin da mun ka bushe da kayayyakin da mun ka bar gaba ɗaya an kwashe ginonin mu ma yanzu sun zube. Alhamdulillah gaskiya mun samu sauki gwargwadon hali a yanzu ma ana shiga lungun ana ayyuka gwargwadon hali gaskiya masu neman abinci suna za su nemowa suna dawowa.
An ce har yanzu ranar kasuwa suna zuwa gaskiya ne
a nan gari suna zuwa amma sai da ba da makamai ba.
Ba su sun dina kashi.
A ranar kasuwa gaskiya suna zuwa amma ba da makamai ba.
Akwai alama kun samu sauki kuwa? Da za ka yi a gaya mana.
Kwarai.
Ka gaya mana.
Da ba mu da namu shiga daji. Ya kammala cikin Anka. Sai dai an ba mu taimakon abinci. Yanzu ko cikin iko. Allah zai ci ya da da masarauta. Yanzu gaskiya mu dana aka muka. Muna shiga daji ko ina muka so. Me mu ma itace mu dai muna shiga inda an ba ɗaukar kowa nan kai gaba dai ba an taɓa ba gaskiya ba bakin ƙarar da wasu an samu sauƙi ɗaya masu
sun dina kashi ko
Ya ka sai da su ce a taya musu noma. Su kira mutane a ce musu.
Sun bar ku ku yi noma.
Sun suna yi noma.
Barayi suna yi noma.
A kira musu noma. Noma suke ƙwarin gaske. Sun shiga.
Lele.
Mu suke kira mu gayyaci mutane a ce musu noma. Ya ka abin da ake.
Ki gaya mana abin da ya faru ranar da aka kore ki.
Abin da ya faru barayi na watsa mu son kashe mu son ka shige mu son kashe mutum 30 ɗaya rana.
Aka kashe.
Ɗaya rana ba. Son ka koro man kai wata hiya ƙasa. Sai shi mai martaba ya ɗauki nauyin mu ya ba mu wurin zama man ka zamna. Nan wurin. Bayan shi kuma mun baro kayan mu na aikin abinci, kayan mu mu na jere tuhahin mu, awakayen mu, ko da muka koma mu kwaso babu sun kwashe sun tafi da su.
Yanzu an samu sauki kuwa?
Sosai an samu sauki, Allah ya alhamdulillah. Tunda da nan kana tashi ka je Badega lahiya, ka wuce ka je Kawaye haɗan kurmi kana zuwa lahiya limi ka je Karawa. Ba abin da ya same ka.
Hearing that bandits now transact business with traders in the Anka main market without molestation, I went to the market to speak with traders.
Some settlements have been discarded by the bandits. That is what the cost is. Most of the village people, they are not here. They live this around here. But thank God that now we are now getting see the peace that people who are around are starting coming now. We have seen some of them. They come to buy some goods here, buy grains and whatever, all what they like. They come freely and go freely without touching anything. Since that we can be able to see them wear some sweat cap like this. That is all how they are behaving.
From here, I proceeded to the new Emir's Palace IDP camp in Anka. There are 4,320 IDPs from 435 households, looked after by 620 caregivers. Bello Alinkilo is the secretary of the IDP committee. He explains how insecurity pushed people to lives of destitution, noting that mass killings were triggered by tit-for-tat killings between the nomadic Fulani and the vigilance men, popularly called Insecurity. During these attacks and counterattacks, people's silos, grains, and houses were destroyed.
The IDPs, we have 11 villages here from various settlements within Anka. Yeah. And what causes the displacement initially, small, it was the misunderstanding between cattle rustlers and the farmers initially. But later, when some people, farmers, they decided to come and rescue some and do some grains of the farmers. Then later, people, some other people, unholy or unpatriotic, named Insecurity, started just to be slaughtering Fulani, burning them with tires. It started at Amuli. Then later, all what created this havoc was vengeance. So they would call other people from their neighboring states to come and they invade one village or the other. We have 11 camps. This is the most identified camp. We still have other 9 scattered.
In
Some
Anka?
primary schools, yes.
In Anka?
Yes. Some primary schools, IDPs. The LLC, hostel for secondary school there, was located for LG. If you go to female girls' vocal, the school was divided into 2. Half were given to IDPs. If you go to JLI, half of the school were allocated to IDPs. If you go to model primary school, half of the school were allocated to IDPs. Okay, let us talk about the community. There were 2 villages that were displaced recently. They burnt their houses, they killed almost 37 people, they burnt everything. The village is Jagaba. If you want to confirm, asked, yes. Then building dock also. Under where? In Anka, where district. So they came, there was no shelter, there was nowhere. So people, willing people who sympathize and empathize, who employed sympathy and empathy with them, they now give them houses to stay. To tell you this, people living at the host community, almost past half of people living in the camps presently. Because if you go, no uncompleted building has no IDPs residing inside it.
Can you estimate the number of IDPs in this?
Yes, we have 4,320. That includes household caregivers and their children. Because we have 435 households.
435
household. If you join with the 620 caregivers, the remaining are children. You know we are polygamic. There is one person with 20 children.
The IDPs narrate how they got here, the state of insecurity, and what they want government to do for them.
Gwamnati ta tallafa mana sosai wanda dai ta ba mu abubuwa da dama ga asibiti ga ruwa ga komi da komi shaimadan kwanci komi da komi da an ba sa a samu sauki mu koma kuma muna roƙon Allah ka mana sauki mu koma gidajenmu.
Insecurity is a big problem in our country, especially in the states of the North Central, Northeast, and Northwest. Zamfara State, located in Nigeria's Northwest, has had its share of insecurity. Right here at the new Emir's Palace IDP camp, there are 4,320 IDPs, made up of 435 households, and they have been taken care of by 620 caregivers. The IDPs who have spoken to me here have expressed the desire to return to their ancestral homes once their traditional rulers give firm guarantees of full return to peace in those areas. From the IDP camp in Anka, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, TVC News.
There you have it. Well done, Mikhail.
Thanks.
At least from the visuals we saw, it's evidence that some sort of relief and calm has gotten back to that community.
Yes, but with bandits, you cannot sleep with your two eyes closed. The people can return, and after a few weeks, you hear that they've started killing people again. This is the problem that we have in that area. Governors will negotiate with bandits, they will stop killing people for some time, and suddenly they will return to killing people, they will return to kidnapping people, they will return to burning people's houses. So this is my worry. Once bandits have not been disarmed, once they've not laid down their weapons, whatever peace that people are enjoying may just be temporary. You cannot achieve peace until you have successfully disarmed these guys, because with those weapons in their hands, they are a time bomb in my view. And there's another story that I did outside of Anka, which we are going to run next week. You see clearly the people say, yes, they've stopped coming to this place, but we hear that they are still killing people elsewhere. So it's not as if there is that one can relax now and say, oh, everything is back to normal. No, I don't believe that we can achieve true peace until these guys have been exterminated or disarmed, totally disarmed. In the past, when they say, okay, they want to make peace, government reaches out to them, they will only submit a few of their weapons because they know that they are not prepared to give up this kind of life permanently. So even the people are kind of cautious. Some of the people that are interviewed, in a separate story, they are cautious and they are saying, look, we are not convinced that, everything is now back to normal. But at least in some communities in the past where they used to kill people, they used to attack people on market days, there's evidence that the people have some level of relief. So, but the point that I'm making is until we have disarmed them, you cannot give firm guarantees. And you had one of the residents of the town saying that these guys come into the market, but when they are coming into the market here in Anka, they don't come with their weapons. They keep their weapons in the bush. They come to the market, they buy what they want to buy, and they go to the bush. And some people that they kidnap, they use those people to farm. So the interesting thing that I discovered in Anka is Barai, or bandits, as we call them, they are farming side by side with residents of some of the villages in Anka. So, and it is those people that they kidnap and some residents of the community that they use in their own farms. So as long as that arrangement is there, they will not they won't attack those people.
Mayor.
I'm impressed that the government will be able to reduce the activities of the bandits in Zamfara, because Zamfara used to be the epicenter of banditry. And it's not as if the problem has been solved, but it's a big step forward. But I want to appeal to government to know that there's still a lot of work to do. I read recently the governor of Zamfara saying that a kingpin, a bandit kingpin, repented and that he was going to work with government, he was going to negotiate on behalf of government with other bandits and all that. And that is not something that government should look at all. You see, because there's nothing you can give these bandits that can compare with what they make through banditry. And when people know that they are going to make a lot of money doing illegal things or doing criminal activities, it's enough incentive for them to continue to do what they are doing. So you have to force them to stop doing what they are doing. And you can do that by making sure that they are disarmed or in some cases killed. So government has to put that into consideration. They should not think that you can negotiate with these bandits. You cannot, because you don't have what they want. You cannot give them what they want. No matter the money you give them, when they know how much they make from kidnapping, sooner or later they will go back to that business. So you have to look for other ways of stopping them from doing that. But at least we can see that Anka, that used to be a place where they suffer so much kidnapping and banditry and all that. If they can have a semblance of living, it's a step forward. But the government should work harder so that they can reenact that scenario in other local governments in Zamfara State.
All right, so like Mayor said, government needs to do more. Now, a lot of people have also mentioned forceful inland and frontier policing.
I believe that we can use the carrot and stick approach against these people. The carrot and stick approach can work. But even if we are negotiating, we must negotiate from a position of strength. The Air Force has intensified bombing in the last 1 month. You know, after the president told the service chiefs that he wanted to see improvement. In Kaduna, in Katsina, even in the North Central, there's a lot of sorties going on against bandits in all of those areas. So I'm not surprised that Bello Tuji will come out and tell, I think the Zamfara deputy governor that he was prepared to make peace and that he would even go after fellow bandits who are kidnapping people. But the truth is, banditry is still going on. People are still being kidnapped, both in Zamfara and Katsina. This thing has not stopped. It has not stopped in Niger. It has not stopped in Kaduna. We need to crush these guys, bring them to their knees. When they can see that there's no future for them in this trade, by themselves, they will give it up. When they can see that there's no room for escape. But if we keep appealing to them, simply appealing to them, we will not be able to solve the problem.
All right, gentlemen, let's take Adewale from Ogun State. Hello, Adewale.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Okay. I would like to, first of all, congratulate myself for getting on to you people for how many years I've been trying.
Congrats.
Particularly to speak to, yes, good afternoon. I've been trying, first of all, congratulate myself for getting on to you people for how many years I've been trying. I've been.
All right. I guess we have some network issue there. All right, Mayor. Is this still, let me ask, is this still rural banditry?
No, it's not. It's not, because you see, we have different players in that field now. The local bandits who used to operate on a lower scale initially. Then they were able to source for a lot of sophisticated weapons and then move into kidnapping, which became very lucrative for them. But they have been joined by remnants of Boko Haram and ISWAP, especially after the death of Shekarau. Since the death of Shekarau, a lot of people within Boko Haram who are not ready to... Shekau. Sorry, not Shekarau, Shekau. There are a lot of followers of Shekau who do not want to join ISWAP, who have gone rogue. So now they are more like bandits and they get involved in kidnapping. What that does for them is that they are now able to earn a lot of money. For example, if you look at those who conducted the kidnapping for the Abuja Kaduna train, imagine the amount of money they made based on what they collected on each person release. It's in billions of naira. You understand? That is the problem with that business. Because when you do an operation and you can earn over 5 billion naira, how will you want to give it up? And it's still relatively easy because they are still where they are collecting the money. People are bringing the money to them. Government has not been able to do anything to them. To convince people like that, don't kidnap, don't get involved in banditry, you are wasting your time. Because they've seen that it's very lucrative. So the only way you can stop them is to take them on and make it difficult for them to do the kind of thing they do. So now, the problem that we have is that apart from the usual bandits that we used to have in that northwest region, now terrorists who are hardened, who have been involved in a lot of battles, who have military experience, who have enough equipment, who have resources to buy. Because you see, Libya, because there's no central government in Libya, Libya is a ready market for arms. During the time of Gaddafi, they had a lot of stack of arms. Now, there are a lot of people now that just sell those arms to anybody that wants to pay. So, from Mali to Niger to us, there are a lot of people buying those arms. So, it's a big business. I don't know how government is going to stop them because the incentive to do what they are doing is so high.
All right, Bikeo. Now for Zamfara State, the Security General, there is a lot of the enemy within factor because yesterday, Zamfara Police Command arrested and paraded 10 informants who deliver ransom to bandits in their enclaves. Yes,
and even within the armed forces, we had cases of soldiers conniving with these bandits. In fact, it got so embarrassing that the chief of defense staff had to come out to warn soldiers to stop this attitude. Some supply not just weapons to them, but even uniform, so that when they stand by the side of the road, you won't even know whether they are real soldiers or bandits. So it's a terrible thing. It's a big business. They are recruiting more and more people in the villages. More women are getting involved. At least the governor of Katsina State said that he's particularly troubled that more women are getting involved in banditry, and they have informants that they pay. So when a vehicle is passing and they suspect that it's a high value target, that's in that vehicle, they will phone them to say, look, somebody is coming and be ready to kidnap that person. So these are the reasons why it's difficult to win this war. People are making money. Imagine those who supply bread to them in the forest. They pay them a premium to bring bread to them, to bring Indian hemp to them, to bring even alcoholic drinks to them, and in some cases aphrodisiacs. So now they are dehumanizing our people. I've heard stories. I think Daily Trust even did a story about how sometimes they would tell a man to send his wife to them if they don't want them to come and kill him. So they are forcing people to work on their farms. They are raping people's women. And in the north, they don't joke with the sanctity of their wives. And before their eyes, these sort of things are happening. This rape of their wives are happening. Rape of their daughters are happening before their eyes in communities that bandits are in control of. So how does one explain this kind of thing? These are human beings, animals that we are dealing with. They may look like human beings, they may look like you and I, but they are not human beings. And they don't deserve to live with the rest of us.
All right, thank you very much, Bikio. Thank you, Mayor, for your perspective so far. Now